Hi guys, how are you?
Not too bad.
Yeah,
all
good.
All good.
Firstly, congratulations. I really enjoyed the film. It's a great revenge story. Firstly, how did you guys all get involved, and then how did it all come about for you? So I'll start with you, actually.
Yeah, so I'm Dan, obviously one of the creators of the film. So for me, it started way back in 2020 when we came up with the concept during lockdown with COVID, and a little bit too much time on our hands, I think, and started coming up with an idea to create a film, particularly starring veterans, which then we kickstarted. So we put our own money in, made a trailer, and then managed to raise more than ever expected to create what was originally going to be a series. And then it just kind of snowballed from there and kept going. So that's where it started for me.
Yeah, and I think for myself, Dan got me in a little Zoom call, talked to me about this character, Cassius, and I was pretty much sold. It sent me a brief of everything, and I was like, I love what this character represents and what he could be, and bring that kind of human civilian aspect to this very marine story, you know. So that's how I got involved.
Me, I got a phone call with I heard you're an actor. Do you fancy being involved with this here? And that there was a hook because it was about our people who'd been on operations come back and were struggling with life. So I was like, I'm in. I obviously spent a long time in the Royal Marines, made a decision in my career after about 30 years that I wanted to be an actor, and I trained as an actor, and after that, COVID happened, which isn't great, but great for our industry. And from there, I got the phone calls and I told it, and I'm just chuffed that I got involved. I was asked.
What I love about this film as well, there's a lot of people from the Royal Marines background. You hear loads of stories about people who leave the army and stuff like that, and they either really bad stuff happens, like suicide or going homeless. So it's great to see that. Have you heard feedback about this inspiring people from the army that want to leave the army?
I've not heard anything really specifically, but I think just from our own experience, making a film and bringing on a lot of veterans and other former Royal Marines was really interesting, because for people that have already left, channeling their sort of their struggles into a creative medium and creating something and focusing their mind on something was really. Some people came to us and said, "Oh, it's like being in the military again when we're on set," which was awesome, because they might have been struggling before, and because they'd lost that sense of being part of a group that they had when they were in the military. So to be on set again and working on something like this, it gave them a little bit new life with it, and working towards something bigger than themselves. But on a personal level, we definitely have sort of felt the effects of that. I haven't really, obviously, not people have seen it and stuff, so we haven't really heard much from other people on sort of their thoughts about it, but hopefully we will once it's released.
So obviously there's some really great action-packed scenes, of course, from yourself as well. But what was that like doing all the fighting scenes, the stunt? Like, was there a lot of stunt doubles involved, or was it mainly you?
No. Right, luckily the stunt coordinators that we had involved with the film were friends and former Royal Marines. So they came in and we rehearsed, choreographed, and then we just got amongst it. Very physical. And then, hopefully in a good way, quite enjoyable as well. Quite releasing, and we've done it. But the whole story that Dan went on with her, the fights, the coordination at her, it comes across as like it's a very violent film. But really, for me, as an actor and a former Royal Marine, this is about our people. This is about a human story, about people that are suffering and everything else now. The action is, it's something that has been a big part of our lives. And then that transition and fusion back into society and what's important is probably a bigger battle in a lot of respects for a lot of people. And the whole thing that I've got from this, not only from that hook pulling me into it, but the experience of filming it with the likes of Dan and the gang we have, which is incredible, right to the fore is this is about my people. This is where I come from. This is about your family, where you come from, what I went through on operations, and in the end, But I've also realised that it's not just me and my personal trauma or experiences, it's about so many people. Families that have lost loved ones, people that are struggling with mental health. And like I say, it sounds, this isn't directed purely at veterans, this is about society, people that lose loved ones that are traumatically ripped from them, from car accidents, through, sudden death. It changes people's lives. And this film that's where the root is. The root is in humans. The action and thrilling parts of it are, like I say, on the practical side, just doing it, loved it, enjoyed it. But reality that violence is really, really honking. Really,
to add to that though, this man is a machine. Like, obviously I'm not as involved in all the fight choreography per se, but there's a lot of me running. And I remember I'm in a van at one point. I couldn't even put my foot down enough. He was catching up with the van. That's how crazy it was. Literally, I'm not joking.
I was only acting.
Yeah, no, hey, I can see him in the mirror. I was like, this guy's not acting anymore. Yeah, it was pretty intense.
Actually, I've got to go from onward with that question. As actors, when obviously in this film there's a lot of grief, there is PTSD, there's some dark subject matters, and obviously everyone can actually relate to these subject matters, but as when you're acting in them, is there times where you have to be like, I need a time out, like this is actually getting to me a little bit? What's up with you?
I think for me personally, I think Cassius as a character goes through a lot of grief. He's in a very uncertain place, clearly doesn't have a good relationship with his father, and he's dealing with a lot. And so there was a lot of crying, I think, from Cassius. And I think there's one crying scene in particular. I was like, okay, I'm done. Like, I don't want to cry anymore. Like, I think I had maybe 3 takes, maybe 2 or 3 takes. I was like, I was speaking to the AD, like, listen, I'm done. Let's end this scene, because I felt like I'd done the journey that was needed. I think I'd done enough. I felt I'd done enough. As long as the guys were happy, I was happy. And I could kind of tick off the character and move on for myself and my own sanity, because when you're working with someone like Tip as well, who, Tip gets into it, like he's there and it helps me as an actor, but you have to talk about that after a while, because it's a dark zone.
I mean, as an actor, don't you? There's so much of your character, which is, it doesn't matter, I think it's irrespective. I mean, a lot of people do, but so much of that character is you, and we become and create and layer the character as it is. And it's one of those things when you become those emotional things, and we were just previously talking about it. For me to go to those emotional places and be credible as the character and as what you're playing, I have to go to places where a lot of my friends I've lost in operations, I have to visit them and go, I need your memory and the wonder of you as a human to come and give me that sadness for the credibility. And during my actor training, it was really hard for me I felt morally corrupt, I felt morally bankrupt, that why am I cheating, using the memories of such wonderful people to create, something to entertain somebody. And then I realised that's why I'm an actor. I'm an actor because I've got so many friends that can't be and do it, but I need them to be credible. And hopefully that comes across in that, because those times when we're on that emotional roller coaster, everyone's got their own way there. For me, I have to have those friends with me to go, you need to give me the believability, so I have to use that. And different actors have different ways of doing it, but that's mine. And I think on this journey that all the cast have had, it's an emotional roller coaster. I think the journey is, and that's irrelevant of the action, but the drama and the humanity in it is really, really important. And I like to say that the character relationship, even though we're polar opposites, we don't even see each other for most of the film, even though we haven't seen the film. But we know, we don't. But we've got so much. It's a parallel journey, between these two characters. It could be a father and son. It could be people who worked in the same team. It could be this people are conditioned the same. But we've come from completely different backgrounds, and all of a sudden we're on this, maybe destructive path, but we're very similar. And that emotional link, I felt that even when we got back in here today, we were just sitting in there, I was like going, and you said something, and it was just that bond straight away, and I thought, that's it. And it was that emotional going, that's where it is. It's it's
connect.
it's that, but it's also that family thing, the daughter you know, a father always, to me with my daughters, like I would always like, I would love you to have, you know, to meet a guy who, and you know, it's like my lads, I'd love you to meet a guy who's like your mum, because she's wonderful. Or, you know, your daughter, you're going, like, need something like your dad, because he's there, you know, she knows, I trust him, he's there, he's always there for me, and everything like that. And in a way, I've never met him, so it's the old, you know what I mean? But it's, you know, she sees, you know, that connect and that bond and that trust and that good person inside of Cassius. And it's, you know what I mean? It's just so, it's so available to everybody, because that's life, isn't it? Everyone's got those same dilemmas.
And then also when it comes to like directing, do you ever get nervous about maybe pushing the boundary too much? Do you, when you're like on set, are you like, oh no, maybe we shouldn't do this, or we should? And how do you overcome that as well?
I think these guys would say we didn't get that nervous about it, but to be totally honest, like it was something we talked about a lot actually, and I don't know how much you guys might have seen of this, but we did have to discuss this a lot. Is like how far do we push you guys, because we did push you guys a lot, and we would keep going, because our belief is that like that's where the real like meat of it is. That's where the truth of it is. And you get deeper and deeper and deeper, and it does take a toll on people. And it was actually really eye-opening for us to see their process in getting to that space. But also, like, we feel like they put a lot of faith in us in a way to take them that far, and not to take the piss, and stop when we need to. And I hope we did. But we had to go far. We had to go deep. And we were conscious that takes a toll on people, and that you're resurfacing emotions and thoughts and feelings that, you know, are quite deep and quite personal for people. But we also felt like the whole point of making this was to highlight those emotions and feelings, and you can't do that authentically without really feeling it. And we were really lucky to have such a talented cast that all did have things to draw on, and were able to do that in such an amazing way. But we definitely did. I think we pushed pretty hard, but we had to be careful. Weirdly as well, sometimes the challenge was actually the shift. We'd be doing like an action scene 1 minute, or something that's maybe a little bit more lighthearted, and also, you know, you get the on-set banter that we'd have, especially with such a big military aspect to the cast and crew. And then suddenly it's like, right, we're into a serious scene now. And we would have to just quiet the set, remove anyone that didn't need to be there, and get serious for a minute. But that sometimes making that shift, that mindset shift, even that just, you know, sometimes is quite tough.
I think there's one like phrase my like old acting teacher used to say to me, which was be comfortable in being uncomfortable. So anytime I would kind of go, oof, that's a bit of a hard scene, I was like, no, I need to be ready to be highly uncomfortable in the situation and just be vulnerable and let it all out. And so many times I got to do that, which was in some ways very cathartic as well, to be fair. You know, they did push, but it was in the right way and the right amount. And, you know, props to all of them for being so sensitive in those moments for us actors. To
it's good for your craft. Really good for your craft.
It's good practice, man.
And he did it. He did it in that non-emotional way. See, just when that, we're going to do like, you know, an emotional scene. And that one, you don't see it in his face, though, do you?
Keep checking.
I know he was good.
Obviously, with the dark storyline, how would you wind after? Was there any funny moments on set after you've done a serious deadly scene?
I mean, for me personally, I was kind of lucky as well, because even certain scenes, I had quite light-hearted scenes with my girlfriend. And we were always being silly on set every single day. Like, half the time they just start rolling. We didn't even know we were doing a scene. We just kind of go with it. So that was kind of a good point in the middle of the day. But at the end of the day, I don't know, it was like a glass of tequila at the end of the evening. And, call it a day and go through my lines the next day. That was my kind of thing.
For me, I don't know, character-wise now, it's just that the journey that we had. You know, I mean, it was, you know, I mean, I know we say it's an untraditional way of making a film, but really it was. We stuck. We had a call sheets, we were running with it. So you knew what you were leaning into, you were prepping your scenes. We already had done a read, so we knew the journey that we were on. Yeah. But I have to admit, I think I stepped truly away from it after we finished that, me and Bob were filming. That's, you know, but during that time, because we were we were rolling around, we were doing this, we were doing that, we were in Dorset, we were doing, you know, different places. Now you're just living in that bubble. Or I felt it was for my character Andy. That's just you sort of. You know, there's a bit of you as a character, but just I sort of kept in a way. You sort of keep there's a bit of distance as well. Like, you know, you felt that you just, as you were falling into your character's day-to-day life as such, you're not in it, but you are sort of there, and it's always with you. And so then I sort of stepped away when we finished the bubble, really. Yeah.
For aspiring directors and actors, what advice would you give them for like set etiquette? And did anyone have no set etiquette? I can't even say the word right now.
I'm probably the worst person to ask that, because as the guys have said, like we filmed this in a really untraditional way. Yeah. And I mean, there were things that we definitely took on board from. We made it like a film, but we also made it our own. It probably ran more like a military operation that did a film set, which in many ways was really good. But we also learned things that maybe we could have taken on board more from regular film sets. But so I think generally, like, the etiquette on set was great because we did bring on a lot of people that had experience on other film sets. So my advice, though, if I was to give someone advice on it, regardless of what set you're on, even if it was ours, is just being there, turning up, and just doing everything with a passion and a smile on your face, because the thing that really made it great for all of us, and like from a director's point of view as well, definitely is when you see the smiles on everyone's faces, when they're actually like happy to be there and they want to be there and they're enjoying themselves on set. That's really useful for us, to know that, like, you know, everyone's having a good time, but they're still getting there and doing the job. You know, we didn't find ourselves chasing people because they hadn't done something we needed from them. So I'd say, just again, being on time, being positive, being passionate about your craft.
I think for me, that's kind of a no. I think it's really important for everyone on set to know the script and know what scenes we're filming that day. Because then, you know, if we have a sensitive scene coming up, everyone knows, okay, we're filming a sensitive scene. Let's have some quiet on set. Do you know what I mean? Naturally, everyone's on the same page. I think that's a really important thing that I've been on some sets and they don't get that. Our set was really pretty good at that, naturally, because most people did know.
It wasn't massive.
Yeah, it wasn't massive.
Everyone was included.
Yeah, but I think that's an important thing.
For me, like, it's understanding, even though being a Marine for so long, 3 years actor training, and then obviously being in the industry for the last 5 years since I graduated, is how the ethos and those disciplines that you have in the military do map across. So time, place, who do I have to be? What do I wear? What do you want? What do you want from me? All those things that you require in the military, you do in the arts. And it doesn't stifle your creative, arts or juices, but it gives you that little bit of, I'd say, as an actor going, that's quite a good thing to have that. You know what I mean? And then after that, once you've got that, you take it for granted. After that, the whole world's your oyster. Then you go, right, who do we want to be? Where's the man going to start?
As actors as well, if you were presented a role and you did not relate to it at all, would you take it? And if you did take it, how would you get into that character?
Comfortable being uncomfortable, I'd definitely take it. I think it's the more the challenge, the more exciting it is anyway. But it's just about research, man. You know, if it's something that's based on a real person or a real life thing that people go through, do your research. That's it, and you can find it. Because I don't believe there's nothing you can relate to. It's gonna be even the smallest thing. That's your way in. Then after that, the research helps flesh it out for you. But yeah, that's my view.
Yeah, for me, it's anything, any character. I'm like dangles it. I'm at the stage of my life where I go, no, I can pick and choose. No, I'm not going. No, give me it. I know where my strengths are, my weaknesses are, but whatever the character, whatever the accent, whatever it is, you do your homework, you work in it. So everything's rhythm. We're all human beings, so we're all the same. So it's just journeying into it. A lot of the character is going to be me, but then you pick it apart and then you create the levels and the layers that are required to be a character. So to me, being an actor just opens, rather than being, you're typecast, you're a veteran, you're an ex-soldier. Well, no, I can do that. In fact, I've done it for real. But to be an actor is that world. You know what I mean? So it's any character to come my way, I would just bite chunks out of it and be who I had to be.
And then 2 last questions, 'cause I know we've got to go. What would you like audience to take away from this film?
Great question. What I would like audiences to take away from this film is to, first of all, be entertained, actually enjoy the film. But I want them to also understand that, like, not all veterans are, as the term, mad, bad, and sad. Like, not everyone is like, you know, just falling into a dark pit of despair and hating their lives. But there are some people out there that are struggling. And this film is a form of entertainment, but also there are very serious like messages about PTSD and survivor's guilt in there. We want people to just be aware of that and understand that it is a reality for some people. We're not asking for any action. We just, you know, it's just like, it is there and it's out there, and some people do really struggle. And if you know, especially for people that know someone that might be in that situation, they pick up the phone and just speak to them, or just make yourself available to them and check in on your offers.
Yeah, I'm more the same. I think you never know what people are going through. I think that's a huge thing that I realized having meeting these guys and being part of that set was just open your eyes a little bit. Take the time to listen to people and hear what they have to say.
Just humans and how trauma can make people more vulnerable. And I think it's for everybody outside that window. You just got to go, right, this is it. We treat each other as humans. That's it. I mean, I think we'll do well. We'll do better.
And then lastly, what can we expect from you guys in the future? 2025, next year?
Hopefully, I don't know about next year. Quite like,
Don't say again, isn't it?
yeah, not quick, but another film I think in the works. But that's probably what's on at this point.
I'm going into a bit of theatre now for a little bit. Probably some film towards the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm writing a bit at the minute. Fingers in pies with theatre projects and just the audition cycle of the world, you know, to try and get gigs in film or theatre. But loving it, living the dream.
Guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Cheers, thanks a lot.
Thank you.